We are live! Hey, that's right. Welcome back to the Resistance broadcast. TRB Live is back, and we are here with all of you to talk about Star Wars. Now, whether you're joining us live or you're listening on your favorite podcast app after the fact, you're in the base, and that's what matters most, because if you're listening or watching, that means you are part of the Resistance. So welcome to the crew. Welcome, one and all. I'm John, and with me, as always, is Lacey Gillerin. Lacey, we're back. We are live.
Hi.
TRB Live is back. A lot of the faithful have been asking for the return of TRB Live, and we said, you know, summer is more of a chill time. Fall's when things, you know, people reconnect, especially over media and stuff like that, it seems. So what a time to bring back TRB Live in October. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I am so excited to be live again. I feel like I'm a little rusty on some stuff. But we're getting back into it, and I'm excited to see all the similar faces and comments and profile pictures in our live chat. I appreciate you guys being here. We have a couple fun things to announce, some new stuff from us, as well as some great Star Wars conversation. So it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, we have One with the Force later in the show. We have news to get into. Also, Ask the Resistance live. So if you have a question, a Star Wars question that you find interesting or you think would make for a good discussion, whatever, whether it's fun or what have you, put it in the live chat. If you're listening live, just use hashtag Ask the Resistance so Lacey knows that that's a question you want us to use on the show. And speaking of that, Super Chats are back. So if you would like your comment hyperspaced right to the front of the line on the show, read and discussed here on TRB, those are available, and we appreciate the support. Thank you very much. And speaking of that, make sure you're following TRB Podcast on social media, and you're subscribed to the Resistance broadcast on your favorite podcast app. Or, of course, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. That is also free. And then we have our Patreon, patreon.com/TRB Podcast. Tiers start at just $5 per month. We just did a watch along on there last week of The Nightmare Before Christmas. We have a Discord server. We have mini episodes of TRB and Nerdy and Nice, just exclusive on Patreon, among other things. It's a great community and a huge level of support for us. We know times are kind of tough right now economically for a lot of people, but if you are able to and you love what we do, we really appreciate all the support. That's how we keep the light on here in the base and allow us to continue to chase the dream of doing this full time. So Lacey, speaking of Patreon, speaking of the website, trbpodcast.com, why don't you reveal our new merch and what we have in store for everybody, which is actually live right now. Some eagle-eyed people checked it out.
I think you should do it because 2 of these are your ideas.
Okay. You're usually better at describing the merch, but I'll give it
I'm going to show it as you talk about it.
All right. So
first of all, let's get to the general stuff first. Like, what is it?
Yeah. So we have new merch. We have go to trbpodcast.com to check it out. We have a brand new hoodie, baseball tee, and t-shirt that spans all of the saga trilogies from the prequels to the sequels. So for the prequels, we have the brand new jacked fish design that we had Brian Ward make for us. That covers the prequels. Then for the original trilogy, we have the Endor-themed Resistance broadcast embroidered hoodie. 'Tis the season for that. Do not leave it at a party. It will be taken. And then we have for the sequels.
You sound like you're talking from
that happened. I once went on a date with a girl, and it didn't go very well. And she had borrowed, because I'm a gentleman, she borrowed my my thermal. I forget what the brand was, but it was a thermal hoodie, and it was my favorite, so much so that I had to buy an exact replica. And I was like, I can't get that back. That's gone. So that happens. That happens from time to time. And then you knew it was coming. We love him. He is a staple on this podcast forever. The director of The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker, J.J. Abrams. We finally have our J.J. shirt for the first time, and it is incredible. Incredible. So go to trbpodcast.com. If you are watching on YouTube, Lacey put the images together there for you as a preview, but they are now available. I'm very excited to get mine, and Lacey's going to preview them right now, doing her best
Vanna White
or Price is Right.
Price is Right, yeah. So actually, the funny thing is, these 2 shirts are John's. That's why I have them, because I send everything to my house. So this is the JJ design. Can you see that? Is that in focus?
That is.
It looks so crisp. His hair, so what you can't tell from the graphic, but it's so detailed. His hair, like his little curls and everything, and it reminds me very much of like what is it, Dilbert, or like the what's that cartoon where the guy's looking over the fence? It's not Dilbert. I'm getting it wrong, but it looks like kind of like that. It's really fun. I like it. It's hilarious.
That is cool.
And it's like obviously it's got the TRB logo in the corner, so you just always know it's us. And then it's really soft. It's like a heathered gray. So the JJ shirt comes in 3 colors. It comes in a navy, this heathered gray, and then like a teal color. We wanted to offer a couple colors because we couldn't decide which one looked the best. So then this is the infamous jacked fish, bright
Yes.
blues, got that big gun out front. With the TRB colors, and I like how he has the TRB logo as the tattoo on his arm. And again, super soft, very vintage feeling, like it's been worn to a couple games. It's nice. And I'm obsessed about this. I know I'm a little biased because I did design this, but I'm just like super obsessed with this sweatshirt. It's like this is the color I'm currently into. I'm typical millennial. I went out of the gray blues and I'm now in the earth tones, like the greens. So I wanted to do this Endor Moon hoodie, which is like a greenish foresty green. And it has the TRB logo, which looks really nice with the green against the orange.
And
It's
embroidered.
embroidered. Yeah, it's nice that you can you hear it? ASMR. It's embroidered. But it's super soft and playing off of what you just said, John, it feels like the type of hoodie you would steal from a boyfriend. It feels
Or
like,
girlfriend. You never know.
or a girlfriend, yeah. Significant other that you're probably never going to talk to again, but at least you have this from the good times.
Right.
And it's super, it feels like it's been worn. Like it's like
Like,
just
it still
like
smells like them.
broken. But anyway, really excited about this. We have other stuff that we're working on as well, but these 3 designs we've been working on a little bit, tweaking it, trying to get the right product to put it on and look, etc., timing wise. So hopefully you guys enjoy them because we enjoyed making them.
Yes. It was long overdue. And people were wondering about the next wave of TRB merch, and we're so glad it's here.
Mhm.
We've been sitting on these designs for a little while, but we wanted to skip over summer and get to when people are dialed back in, left the beach and went back to their abodes or what have you. But before we get into the main part of the show, Lacey, I don't know if you saw this, but and again, the site trbpodcast.com, if you want to grab the merch, it's there now. So thank you. And great job by Lacey facilitating everything on the site as always. Lacey, did you see this? Leo DiCaprio, this movie's getting so much buzz. They're talking Oscars and everything, the one battle after another. And
Yeah.
I know he's a huge Star Wars fan. There's videos of him when the Phantom Menace came out of like being in line at the store and
tried
buying
out.
all the toys.
He tried
He
out for Anakin.
auditioned for Anakin. Yep. So he said for this movie, now people may be familiar with this movie now that's been out, there's a lot of buzz about it. He wears these big wraparound like sunglasses, and he said the reason why his character does is, quote, I had this vision of these wraparound optical glasses like Boba Fett. Those are the ones I had to choose. So if this movie wins an Oscar, you can thank Boba Fett for that.
Yeah. It's funny how I feel like every popular thing that happens with actors or a movie, it always like somehow gets back to Star Wars. Like someone's like, "Oh, I was inspired by Star Wars," or "I remember that thing from
A
Star
lot of
Wars,"
times,
or
yeah.
yeah, it's so cool. That's really funny though. He's
Yeah.
like, "It must be Boba Fett."
So we do have super chats available. Again, I see one is in. So Lacey, before we get to the news, why don't we crack open our first super chat in a lot of months?
Sure, it's from Miles. Hey man, love your profile pic. You got Spider-Man in there. Hi LG and John. Did you see Oasis live last month? I did not. Are
I
you
did
talking about the
not.
band or is that some other event?
No,
I'm assuming the
he means
band.
the band. Yeah.
I mean, they're good, but no, I didn't see it. I wish I
Yeah.
saw it. I might have to look it
Yeah.
up. Are they
Yeah, I
flipped
like
online?
Oasis. I like some of their songs. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm the hugest fan.
Yeah.
But man, people have gone nuts, and those guys are about to make an absolute fortune now that they're reunited. So,
Yeah.
Miles, did you see Oasis? And if you did, I hope it was great, and I hope everyone saw it was great because it looks like everywhere they went, those places were packed, and everybody was having a good time, from what I saw.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Miles. All right, let us get into the news, and we do that in the Resistance Report.
It's the Resistance.
Okay, our first story is good news because when a Star Wars movie or TV show wraps production, you can just lock that in. And that is what is going on with Ahsoka Season 2. Ahsoka Season 2 has recently wrapped, confirmed, mainly by social media posts. Rosario Dawson posts about the after party, and also Bryce Dallas Howard talking about that, confirming, although it was, I guess, already widely known and reported, that she had finished directing her 2 episodes as well. And she has a quote here about it, Lacey. Do you want me to read that, and then we could dive into our thoughts on what's going on with this season?
Sure, that would be great.
All right, so Bryce Dallas Howard on Ahsoka Season 2 said, quote, "It's so good. It is so good. It is beautiful, thrilling, adventurous, romantic. It is all the things that you want from an epic story." Lacey's like, romantic? What?
I know. I got so many tags in that comment online. Like, mad people were sending me messages and tagging me and being like, "Oh my god."
And she said, "And I adore Dave Filoni. I would do anything for and with Dave Filoni. He's an extraordinary leader and visionary. He's super funny, and the guy knows what he's talking about. So I just got to finish that up and been working on the cut, and it's just one of the greatest privileges and joys of my life, getting to play in that sandbox." End quote. So Lacey, Ahsoka, first of all, like I said, great news. Ahsoka Season 2 is wrapped filming, so that is pretty standard for what we're seeing with these 8-episode Star Wars live-action Disney Plus shows. About 6 months for filming, and then they usually do about 6 months or so to 8 months of post-production. So maybe Ahsoka arrives next summer. We don't really know. But based on this quote, based on things we're hearing about this being a bigger, grander, just larger version from what we saw in Season 1, what are your overall thoughts? What are your feelings about what's going on with Ahsoka Season 2 now officially in the can?
I am, first of all, hyped that it's done. There's no issues, no stopping of production, no cancel it. It's done. So if they cancel at this point, that's just silly because it's already been filmed.
Yeah.
2, love Bryce Dallas Howard. I would love for her to take the torch from her dad and continue on Solo, make Solo 2 happen. We've been saying that for a while. I think she does a great job. She clearly cares about Star Wars. And the fact that she's kind of like their number one fan, like no matter what, she doesn't say no to directing anything for Star Wars. She's like, yes, yes, yes. So yeah, I hope she gets a movie. That being said, naturally, the first thing that stuck out to me is romantic. One of the things I've been complaining about the most for Star Wars forever is that there's not enough romance in it. We got it with Kira and Han. We got it with Leia and Han. We got it a little bit with Cassian and Bix. Well, not a little bit. We got a lot of it with Cassian and Bix, but it was still like this tragic love story. I would just love more love in Star Wars. I don't think that's I think there's been a trend, which we've discussed before, of saying that because female characters are in the forefront of a lot of these stories, that it makes them weak to be in love. And I'm not just saying that for Star Wars, I'm saying in general, it seems like when these characters are being written, it's like, oh, well, she can't be strong and in love, or she can't have a love story, or he can't have a love story, because then that takes away that they're, at war or whatever. And I'm like, you're telling me that the baseline emotion that all of us are connected by as human beings, which is love, is not important in these stories. So when she said romantic, I was like, that is a very specific word. That means that someone in this series is falling in love, kissing, something.
So do you have any initial hunches?
I said this when Ahsoka was going on, that it seemed like Ezra and Sabine had something going on. And I know that offends some people because in Rebels, it was a very brother-sister thing, but it might be a brother-sister friends to lovers scenario where they've gotten older and they've realized in their time apart that they've really been more fond of each other. That's my guess. Or Hera, but Hera doesn't have a significant other.
Yeah. That would probably upset a lot of people. How
Right. I
dare
think
you do
she's
that to Kane and Jarrus? How dare you?
right. I think even Dave would probably be like that. Dave Filoni
Yeah.
would say that. So
And
that's
Freddie
why I
Prinze
think it's
Jr. would be like, I don't care.
so that's why I don't think it is Hera. I think it's Sabine and Ezra. I think they kind of led that on. I know that fans have been pushing really hard for Sabine to be with Shin Hati. Like there's this like under like tone of oh will they won't they enemies to lovers type stuff. And that could be a weird, interesting love triangle if you really wanted to go that route. But I'm assuming it's probably Ezra and Sabine.
Yeah, I don't have a better guess than that. So I think so. Unless they introduce new characters and hit us with a curveball, or all of a sudden like Balin Skull gets the Mortis and he just like starts getting down. I don't know. But
Getting down
yeah,
with who?
anybody. Mortis is a wild time. You can all of a sudden you get an apparition showing up. It's like then you're like Ray and Ghostbusters all of a sudden. You know what I mean? So I would lean towards Sabine and Ezra as well. I want to know what people think in the chat. Do they have any other guesses? Any other clever potential
I mean, I did
love
kind of
connections?
laugh internally, not externally, because then you would see me laughing, but I did kind of chuckle to myself. Darth Snip said, I don't care who's in love, just excited for more Ahsoka, which some people might have that opinion. I don't know. I have to go back and rewatch our reviews of Ahsoka, our video, because I'm pretty sure I was like, I'm getting something. I'm picking something up from like the long stairs, the awkward, like, who's talking first. They're sitting
Yeah.
on that like little cart when he's like, what are you doing here type thing. There was like that longing look at each other, and then she like touches the mural very romantically. Like to me, that if my sibling was missing, I wouldn't be going up to a mural like, so long, I've missed you. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like Sabine always did have some sort of like crush on Ezra in a way. And you know, Ezra was pretty hard focused on his Jedi path, but maybe now that he's there, he can open up that door. But I think that would be cool. I would have no problem with that. So, yeah.
I wouldn't either. I think if it's done well and it's meaningful for those characters, which I think we're not going to really be able to argue with what's best for these characters since it's Dave Filoni. Like,
Yeah.
these are his people and creatures and characters. So I don't think we have as fans the ability to be like, no, they wouldn't have done that. He's like, he is the guy. Their voices are in his head. Like,
Yeah.
I
And
hope
also,
there's romance. I would love it. Pun
yeah,
intended.
you have to also consider the fact that there's that Dave Filoni movie still on the horizon, and we're going to talk about Mangold's movie in a little bit. And it just seems like those three movies that were announced at London at Celebration 2023 are all in a weird way married to each other because they were all put right out there saying this is the slate. You may have heard about we
Yeah.
were doing this, we were doing that. These are the three, and so far 0 of them have entered production. But Filoni, obviously being where he is on the ladder in the C-suite, if you will, his movie's gonna happen, and it's probably gonna continue off of whatever happens with Ahsoka here, especially if they are dialing back Disney Plus. Maybe the next time we see Ahsoka is in that Dave Filoni movie, and you figure whatever romance sparks here in Ahsoka season 2 would carry over maybe in a grander way on the theatrical film. So keep that in mind with the characters. You know, Dave Filoni really loves the characters he creates. I would imagine if there's going to be romance in this story that vaults up into the theatrical film, it's going to be big players. So maybe it is, you know, Sabine and Ezra. I think it's a low hanging fruit, but if you guys have better guesses, I saw Mike had a funny guess about Hu Yang and lightsaber parts. We won't.
And Frank
explore that
said
much
Chopper
further,
and Hu Yang.
Oh, okay.
I do have to bring
Droid
up
love.
Will. What up, Will? How's it going, man? Will has been killing it lately. I've been seeing all this stuff from him, like interviewing people, hosting
Oh, at Rebel Scum
panels.
Con, doing the trivia.
Killing
Yeah.
it. So happy for him. What up, Will? I don't mean to talk about you in the third person. I know you're watching, but he says if Ezra and Sabine are going to be knocking Jedi robes, does that mean Sabine and Ahsoka make it back from Peridea in season 2? And he puts eyeball emoji. I think that's an obvious yes. She has to make it back.
I think
Because I don't think they're going to want to keep Ahsoka far away the entire season, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I wonder if it's one of those things where Sabine wants to go with Ahsoka like in terms of like getting to Mortis, and Ahsoka
Yeah.
pulls one of those Armageddon things on Ben Affleck, where she like closes a door and like Sabine can't go with her, and then she has to go back to the known galaxy or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, this is my journey, Sabine. I have to go alone, like Obi-Wan.
I feel like they do that in a lot of movies. I know what they do in Armageddon, but I feel like they do it all the time where they're like, no, don't do this. No.
I must face him alone. Yeah. Yeah. We also have a few super chats, and one by Will Diamond himself.
We do. So continuing on. Well, thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate it.
Thank
He
you,
said,
brother.
is this where I donate to the Giants better win this week, or I'm hurling myself into the volcano on Mustafar Fund? TRB Best Star Wars pod on the HoloNet. Thank you so much. It's funny you say that, Will, because as we were loading at the beginning with the little swirly logo countdown thing, I remembered it's Thursday. I forgot that it was Thursday, and I went, oh no, it's a bye week. And I quickly pulled up my phone and was like switching players out of my
For
lineup.
fantasy football. We have the TRB Fantasy Football League, in case anyone's unaware. Yeah.
I forgot it was Thursday. It's been a wild week for me. I went to a cooking class last night on a Wednesday. It was like
Nice.
bananas. So
You cooked bananas? All right.
No, I'm saying this whole situation was bananas. So I was switching stuff because right now, guys, I am ahead of John. I cannot lose this. This is all I have.
What's your record?
More than you.
No, that's incorrect.
I think we have the same record, but I have like 45 more points than you.
So like 10 more points a week. Big whoop.
That's still more points than you.
If McCaffrey goes down,
if it comes down to 1 point, I'm still beating you.
Yeah, we'll see. So
I don't think you like the fact that I am beating you. I think it hurts you a little bit.
It's tied. It's 3-1.
It hurts you a little bit that I'm
So
ahead
listen,
of you in the league.
Back to Will, more importantly. So 2 of the New York Giants are huge Star Wars fans. 2 rookies. Abdul Carter, who's a linebacker, loves Darth Vader. And then you have their new quarterback, Jackson Dart. He started last week. They finally won a game. It was incredible. The Giants won a football game. And he does the eye black, Lacey, that goes like Anakin's scar over his eye. So he's a huge Star Wars fan. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, Will.
Yeah.
Keep crushing, man, and hopefully we finally get to hang in person one of these times, pal.
That would be great. Next up is Mumbo Jimbo.
Yo.
What up, man? I was actually just looking at your picture, not to be weird. I was going through Japan pics, and I have pictures of us with you. You're so tall. I was just.
You gotta post those.
I know. All right. What up? He says, hello, TRB. In Rebels, I always thought that the romantic attraction was one way, Ezra to Sabine. But I think that changed for Sabine in Ezra's absence. Oh my God, what if it's really yearning and like he's moved on, but then she's now into it and he doesn't want to get into it because he'd yearned for so long? Guys, that's a lot. That's really, that's a lot of tension.
That guy was on a planet with a bunch of turtles. He was He was in another galaxy.
He's like, I will take anything at this point.
Yeah, if that guy saw an astromech when he got back, he'd be like, what are you doing later?
The poor turtles. But they had kids and stuff, so they're doing pretty well.
Those turtles are like, that guy Ezra looks at me weird at night. I don't know what's going on.
It's been too long.
Yeah, that dude with that beard and those just terrifyingly glowing blue eyes. I don't know, man.
They said, I saw something online. I don't know if it's true. I haven't verified it. It was one of those scrolling glance messages. Someone was saying that they have said at either at panels or announcements or something that this season they're doing contacts differently. Like instead of putting contacts on him, they might be doing it digitally, so it's not as blue as it was in the last season.
Yeah, he has brown eyes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. His looked, for whatever reason, and I'm not trying to be nitpicky, his looked better than Mary Elizabeth Winstead's, I felt.
I didn't care either way. Neither of those bothered me because it's Star Wars. Like, what did you expect?
I agree. I agree.
People were really picky. I was like, this isn't like... I don't know.
Well, the animation faithful were typically the most critical. You know, it's sometimes tough to bring some of those characters to live action, but I think I'm totally fine with it too. Yeah, thanks, Jim. Yeah.
Next is Christy. Christy, how's it going? She said, could only super chat $5 because I already ordered the new TRB hoodie. Yo, girl. Enjoy. It is so comfy. Stay tuned for a wedding invite base. Oh, what?
What?
I don't know if you want me at your wedding. I get like really obnoxious, especially if Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody comes on. Like that is my song. That is the song that I'm yelling at everybody like, "Let's go. What are we
Yeah.
doing?"
Yeah. You know what mine is?
What?
Gangnam Style.
Oh.
Yeah. I actually, at every wedding I go to, I require that they put a trapdoor under the stage so I get shot up when
Oh,
the
you're being
song
lame. I
hits.
thought you were being genuine. What is your wedding like hype song?
I do like that song at weddings. Man, that's tough. Oh, Run Around Sue. Run Around Sue is my favorite. If a wedding plays Run Around Sue, and Chrissy's like, I hate Run Around Sue.
Is that the one that's like, hey, hey,
Yeah,
hey?
Dion and the
Okay.
Belmonts.
All right.
Yeah,
Whitney
yeah.
Houston's better, but okay.
She's not.
Congratulations.
okay.
How is the wedding planning going, Christy? Is it fun? I found that whole process a little stressful, but I hope it's going better for you.
Thank you, Christy.
Last but not least is Darth Snips. What up, girl? She said Sabina Ezra is what I'm hoping for. So happy Tara B Live is back. I missed you guys, heart. We missed you too.
Didn't this very Darth Snips 5 minutes ago say she doesn't care who falls in love?
She doesn't care, but she wants us to know that if she did care, this is what she cares about.
Heather, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. It's good to be back live, and thanks for all the support. It means a great deal. So yeah, I'm excited for Ahsoka season 2 as well. I know it's going to be bigger. I'm curious how deep they're going to go with the lore, with Mortis and all that stuff, and what implications that will have retroactively on the first Mortis visit we saw in the Clone Wars. Are people going to be taking the mantle? A lot of people think that certain characters are going to be taking over. I hope that's not the case because I don't want these characters sort of trapped in Mortis. Are they going to break Mortis? Like, there's so many. That's the thing. Dave Filoni, like, he loves getting wild with this stuff. But I think I like him best when he reels it in and brings the heart and the connection between the characters, and that's ultimately what it's all about. And he says that too. You can litter the screen with 40 space whales, but if you haven't fallen in love with your characters, it doesn't matter. And I think Filoni gets that, especially these characters like Ahsoka. I don't think he cares about a Star Wars character more than he does Ahsoka. I could be wrong, but it seems that way. That's his baby. George made that character with him. So he's going to put extra care in this one, especially if he's, show running it and putting a stamp on it. And plus the fact that it might be a little pressure on him, being that he now has that higher position on the executive team. Because if a Dave Filoni show isn't good and he's at the top of the chain, he's not gonna like fire himself or cancel a show or anything. So
also
but
he snuck Ahsoka into so many things. They're like really in on Ahsoka. So if he fails at the Ahsoka series, they're gonna be like, "What was the point of
they've run
stuff?
out of so many versions of Ahsoka that in the Lego Star Wars thing that just came out, she's a brickhead. She's a Lego brickhead. So but I'm so excited for this show. I can't believe that it's done and they're editing it right now. Bryce Dallas Howard's talking about how she's in the cut right now, so they know what's going on and we don't, and that's fine. I don't want to be spoiled, but I do hope this season ends with another fat cliffhanger and they say, in the style that George Lucas always loved, the poster for the Mandalorian and Grogu's like that old serial, like, tune in next time. I hope it's like, see Ahsoka's next adventure on the big screen. And I would love to see at the end of episode 8 of season 2, if the stinger is not a scene or anything, but it says, you can see Ahsoka in her next adventure in theaters on blah, 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 and put the date. I think people will flip out and maybe even do a title reveal or something, because that movie's happening too, the Filoni movie. So
she's definitely in it too. There's no way they're going to do a movie and not have Ahsoka be in it.
Yeah, right. Oh no, she's gonna be front and center on the poster. Filoni's going. You go full Ahsoka if you're Dave Filoni. All right. Our next story also about an upcoming Star Wars project, but one of those movies we were talking about before that were announced at London 2023. It's now been 2.5 years. It's been 84 years since Star Wars Celebration London. And we have Dawn of the Jedi. Now, there was a lot of shakeup online recently because James Mangold I feel like everybody's inking with Paramount right now. He inked an exclusive deal to produce movies for Paramount. I believe it was like 5 movies or something like that.
Paramount's got a lot of money to throw around.
Yeah, the South Park guys got like $1 billion. But yeah, and the Duffer Brothers, like they're loaded. But a lot of people thought this meant bye-bye this Dawn of the Jedi that they're referring to it as movie, which is supposed to be the origins of the Jedi Order. And that's supposed to take place 25,000 years before the Skywalker saga. I keep thinking Hu Yang's going to be a part of that because that's how old he is. But so this was from IO9 or Gizmodo, and they reached out to Lucasfilm, no response. But Mangold's team, I guess, responded, and they said, quote, James remains attached and available to develop all of his other projects. So that means, at least as we on paper, as we stand here today, the James Mangold Dawn of the Jedi movie still on the whiteboard, still in development at Lucasfilm, and I'm excited about that. I like James Mangold. I know maybe not everybody loved the Indiana Jones movie. I think anytime these big time directors, whether it's J.J. Abrams or James Mangold, Rian Johnson, they step into these very precious things. The Skywalker saga, or I call it the episodic saga, or Indiana Jones. It's hard for you to win over people. Like, he had to take over from Steven Spielberg, who did every other Indiana Jones movie. J.J. Abrams had to take over the story that takes place after Return of the Jedi, one of the most beloved Star Wars movies. And whatever you think about those, it's a lot of pressure, and I personally think they both did a pretty solid job. But now he gets to go back and tell a story so far removed from anything, further than anything we had seen in Star Wars yet, and has, even though there's stories ahead, it's so far ahead, he has essentially a blank canvas to tell this story, and I think it can be a really good thing, especially if he casts Sean Bean as the original Jedi. So Lacey,
I'm really pushing for that.
what do you think? Well, we got Sigourney in, but she's not a villain. But Lacey, what do you make of this? Do you believe that this movie is still on, and are you down with that, or were you sort of like, oh, okay, that's done now? Like, where are you at with this?
So the interesting thing is the quote that was given. The quote that was given is, quote, remains attached and available to develop all his other projects, quote. To me, it's a very PR answer. Like, of course, he's around to develop anything, et cetera, et cetera. And naturally, someone can be working on multiple things at once. They mention in the article, I already knew this anyway, but in the article, they also mention it, that J.J. Abrams had signed with Paramount when he was doing The Force Awakens, so it's not unheard of. Duffer Brothers, as you just said earlier, they're working with Netflix on Stranger Things, but they also signed with Paramount, so it's not like an exclusive deal. But it is weird. It's a little weird that we haven't heard a lot about this movie. We haven't heard, they were so hyped, and I say they as in Lucasfilm, was so hyped to announce him at Celebration in front of everybody, and it shocked all of us for him to come out on stage right before Indiana Jones. And then Indiana Jones came out, and then it was, we're not talking about this anymore. And I feel like we've consistently seen this about Star Wars, and that's not a reflection on my opinion of James Mangold, because I loved Wolverine or Logan. I loved a bunch of different things he's done, and he's clearly a very talented filmmaker. There's no doubt about it. But I feel like oftentimes Disney has made a very knee-jerk reaction of people's response to a film or box office returns on a film to then kind of knee-jerk it and be like, oh, can't work with this person anymore. Oh, we're going to put this on hold. And it's kind of heartbreaking when you hear how James Mangold initially pitched a Boba Fett movie and then got shut down about that. And then now he's finally getting this movie. And it seems like this is kind of getting pushed aside a little bit, especially where how they kind of, well, they didn't kind of, they did. They speed tracked the Starfighter movie ahead of him. Like they were like, go ahead, guy, to Sean Levy.
Over all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I'm not sitting in the room with them as in the production meetings. I don't know what they're going through. I don't know what issues they've had. I don't know what scheduling problems. I can only go by the information that's been reported or rumored. And based on other situations we've watched occur since 2017 to now. And it seems like every time something gets pushed off and not talked about for a long period of time, it's not really going to happen. Or they just kind of let it fade away, and then they show you some new shiny thing, And so you move on to the new shiny thing and you might forget about these other things.
Yeah.
But I hope this movie gets made. I think it would be great. I think he's super talented. I think he could bring something really special to Star Wars. He clearly seems to be passionate about Star Wars. Um, I think it Indiana Jones in itself was a very hard franchise to take on. So if he feels good about how that went and it didn't phase him, he'll be perfectly fine heading into Star Wars.
My question is for people who, because Crystal Skull got a lot of crap in '08, a lot. Like it made a lot of money,
and I
but
don't.
people crapped on it.
That was the
And
first Indiana Jones I saw. I've said this before. That was the first one.
That is bananas.
I loved Shia.
Yeah.
I grew up with Shia.
Holes, yeah.
No, even Stevens. Get Holes out
even
here.
Stevens. Oh, all right. All right. Disturbia. All right.
No,
Transformers.
even Stevens.
You do like Transformers.
I do like Transformers.
But if Steven Spielberg made Dial of Destiny, he would have gotten crap too, because he got crap for Crystal Skull. So this whole new thing where, oh, it wasn't Steven. So it's like you were probably the same people crapping on Crystal Skull. You just want young Indiana Jones, and you couldn't get over the fact that Harrison Ford got older. And it's like, yeah, is Dial of Destiny the best Indiana Jones movie? No. But I think it's a really well-made movie. My only gripe with it was
beautifully. I mean, there's a bunch of shots in that movie that I'm like, it looks like Steven Spielberg shot
and Harrison
this.
Ford was really good. I'm sorry, he was really good.
He was, yeah.
So I guess my last point on it is, I guess my prevailing thought is that we can't, like, when you're thinking about, oh, well, it was a Lucasfilm movie, and if that didn't do well, then his Star Wars movie won't do well. Separate it. Because he was going in to close out Indiana Jones, guys. That's impossible. No director, Christopher Nolan, I don't care what director you love, it's a tough task to do, and he did it, and he stood on stage, took all the hits from people, and I respect that. This Star Wars movie takes place 25,000 years before the Skywalker saga. Nothing precious attached to it. He just has to show us how the Jedi Order starts. There's no existing story of that, so any preconceived notion you have does not matter. You're going to learn it when that movie comes out, and there's no rush. It doesn't have to fit into anything in the production timeline. They can wait 5-6 years to do that movie, and maybe he churns out another movie for Paramount that crushes it, and then people are like, man, I'm glad that guy's still making that Star Wars movie. So I'm still down for that to come out. It's still in pencil for me because it has been so long, but I'm hoping we see it.
I also liked Crystal Skull. I saw that as my first Indiana Jones.
The first half I loved, yeah.
Besides the theater, like messing up the sound a little bit, it was a local theater. I'll give them a break. I enjoyed it. I like Shia. I liked the ending where he picked up the hat and you're like, oh, he's going to take it over. And then nothing came of it. I had a fun time watching it. The one thing was the fridge at the beginning, but like everybody goes, come on. But like that's kind of Indiana Jones. We watched Temple of Doom recently.
Yeah, exactly.
On Patreon. And there were times that I was like, no, what? No way. But like that's just what that character is. It's like a more over the top James Bond or a Han Solo.
It's a fantasy story. The Holy Grail heals bullet wounds. You know, the Ark melts your face. Like you rip hearts out of chests. So there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens.
I think we've gotten so serious about our fantasy and science fiction, and like there have been so many films that have come out over the past several decades that are built in realism and built in kind of,
I agree completely.
What if this happens in real life? Like, how would this go? That people forget the suspension of disbelief of watching a film and being like, oh, that's awesome. That's hilarious. Imagine if that did happen instead of saying that could never happen. People miss the point of that. The magic of cinema.
But yeah, let us know what you think. Are you still hoping the Mangold movie happens? Pop it in the chat. And again, just a reminder, we are doing a live Ask the Resistance later in the show. So please send in questions. Use hashtag Ask the Resistance, and we will get to those a little later. But Lacey, before we get into One with the Force, we have some super chats. And may I request the middle one go last?
All right, sure. So first up is Sneaky Zebra. What up, man? He said, awesome seeing you live again. Awesome seeing your little zebra profile pic. Yeah. Love seeing you in the comments.
Go check out Sneaky Zebra's Star Wars fan films. If you don't know who he is yet, go to his channel and watch them. Of the best.
Gary, you got to come on. We got to talk about it. Let's figure out a time, man.
Let's lock it in.
Let's lock
it in. Buddy.
Let's punch it. All right, David Ford's up. It wouldn't be a show without him. What up, man? He said, I can't wait to see John's reaction video after Taylor Swift's Life of a Showgirl album begins streaming at midnight. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm actually super hyped for this album because I know she hypes herself up really well. And obviously her soon-to-be husband hypes her up as well, saying it's like so great, full of bangers. But the fact that she's syncing up with the same guy that did her last album with Reputation with this one, to me, I listen to Reputation more than any other album. I go a little bit into 1989 because I love Style and Blank Space. But I am excited for this album. I think it's going to be great. I can't wait to listen to it. The past few have not been my vibe. I like the like kind of revenge party girl Taylor Swift. I don't like folklore. I'm in the woods smelling my leather jacket while drinking a hot cup of tea. And I'm not into like kind of her last album was more like, how do I expect, like alternative, I guess, kind of.
Well,
I
now
want like
she's found
pop
love.
bangers.
So there's no more revenge. There's no more.
Well,
It's all love
supposedly
now.
there's still songs on this new album about like how tough her life is going from city to city and finding love and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whatever. I just like something that's easy to sing to and it's fun and it's got good tempo and
All right.
yeah. Reputation's the
Thank
best.
you, David. Thank you, David.
Last but not least is James. What up, James? And he said, hey, TRB, just wanted to thank you for the episode a few weeks ago when you riffed on sharing a hotel room with Jabba. I was dying laughing. Much love.
That, those segments, one with the Force, are a good time. So thank you very much, James. We have to, do those more often. And that's why we're doing
Yes.
it on this episode here. So really appreciate that. I'm glad we were able to make you
Disgusting.
laugh. That means a lot. That means a lot.
Disgusting.
That is
Jabba would be
disgusting.
so gross. And you were so quick to be like, yeah, totally Jabba. Totally
Yeah.
Jabba.
Right. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Now on that, it is time to get into that segment, and it's called One with the Force.
The Force is with me, and I'm one with the Force.
All right, One with the Force. So this is a little bit different from Will of the Force. So the way this works is we get pitched a scenario where we have to make one choice of the question, whether it be like your favorite planet or what's a battle that you would want to be a part of, etc.
Who would you room with in a hotel?
Who would you room with in a hotel? So here we are.
Bohuda.
So kicking it off, the situation scenario is you are magically transferred into the Star Wars galaxy. What is your number one scene from a movie or TV show that you would want to witness in person? Rest assured, no matter where you decide to go, you are safe from harm. So nothing, you're more of like a passive viewer, but you get to view it in person. John, thoughts?
So I'm not a big fan of war, and I know like some people are like, I'm watching the war on CNN right now. It's like, that's not my thing. I don't watch war. So if I was in Star Wars, as awesome as like the Rogue One space battle is, like the Battle of Scarif or the Battle of Yavin, I wouldn't pick one of those. A lightsaber fight would be really cool to see live, but then there's a chance you're seeing like someone getting got. And I know this happens in my pick, but not by the way of purposeful violence for the most part. But I'm going with the Boonta Eve Classic. I think that would be I've been to NASCAR races and they're always a good time. Like being at the Boonta Eve Classic with all these different species and the giant crowds and the two-headed announcer, and you got all the different species flying these pod racers all around. Tusken Raiders, Jawas, Jabba the Hutt. It's like a Star Wars salad. A Star Wars racing salad, and it's one of the most exciting scenes. And I think being live at that race, watching this human being win it, watching Anakin Skywalker win the race that gives him his freedom, would be one of the coolest things to be at. And you're cracking back some beers and stuff like that, and just having a good time with your pals watching the race, but also seeing just a legacy Star Wars moment. So I'm going with even though Tatooine stinks, I'm going with. I'd wear a lot of SPF, of course, maybe a big hat. But I'm going with the Boonta Eve Classic. That's my pick. What about you?
Sorry, I just got something just started playing music on my computer. And I was like, I'm watching you talk about Boonteef, and I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And then someone started talking. I was like, what is that noise? That is a great choice. It would make me nervous just because there's so many people. That's why I wouldn't choose that.
Mm.
Now I feel like that's a solid typical John choice. Like if I was to
Oh.
guess what
Mm.
you'd pick like the fun party atmosphere. Like the one that like people are around, you're I'm talking about like when I experienced the Japanese baseball game with you. Like you love being like in the crowd cheering people on, like that's you. That's your vibe.
I got in trouble for standing up with the 2 strikes, remember? Not in trouble, but they were like, "Can you sit down? We don't do that here." I'm like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry."
they were literally telling me to sit down. Um, uh, I was smiling to myself while you were talking because I was like, should I go old school Lacey and be like, well, clearly I'm going to choose shirtless Kylo Ren if we're choosing a scene
Oh,
to view.
Moan.
Does he get greased up beforehand? Does someone
Okay.
grease him up? Was he working out? Was he just like waiting and like misting himself before Ray showed up? But that's obviously a joke answer and not my genuine answer. But I do appreciate that joke. That being said, my answer would be the Kessel Run from Solo in the Millennium
Mm.
Falcon with the crew.
Excellent.
Because if
Excellent.
nothing's going to happen to me and I know how it ends, I feel like that would be a blast to be a part of. Like to be there, just like yelling at each other, running across the millennium, like maybe using a gun at some point. Watching Chewie finally sit in that seat, like getting to
Yep.
witness that with my own eyes.
Mhm.
Would be like a once in a lifetime thing.
That's a great pick. That is
I
one
might
of
hit on Han a little bit. Might be like, "Kira, get out of here."
yeah.
But
Yeah. I'd be like, "Kira, can we go hang some coats in the closet real quick?" No. George Lucas directed one of the shots in that. The last thing he ever directed in Star Wars was one shot from Solo. That's a great pick, Lacey. That the
Thank
Kessel
you.
Run. Can I say it's an underrated scene because Solo didn't really get the love it deserved? Like the Kessel Run for something that was known about for 40 years. Ron Howard and the cast and everything, they nailed the Kessel Run. That was amazing.
I watched that movie with you for the first
Yeah.
time in the movie theater, and I have never smiled more watching a Star Wars movie than in that scene.
That was amazing.
I
Yeah.
specifically remember the feeling of my muscles because I was smiling so hard for so long that like the muscles up here hurt.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Um, and I left that movie just feeling so good. Like that's such a cherished um experience for me when I leave a film feeling so good, and that's why I constantly comfort watch the same things over and over again. And Solo is that for me. Like that movie, I never leave it feeling sad except that they haven't made more of it. But all right, moving on.
Makes
We
Solo 2 happen.
lost yes, make Solo 2 happen. You guys knew that was coming. I should put that into the graphics so every time we get on.
I know.
All right. Question number 2 is we lost Han, Luke, and Leia during the events of the sequel trilogy, which we talked about with John Boyega's comments last week. So if you want to know what we think about his comments related to this, go check that out. We got into a really good discussion about it actually. Which of their deaths was the hardest for you to accept, John? And I'm going back to you again, not because I'm forcing you to first, but because I just spoke. I want to go back and forth.
We both have this. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm going to guess we have the same answer. So I have to say Luke,
Mm.
just because I know how much it still hurts Mark Hamill. And because Harrison Ford's like, I'll come back and do one more, and then
Pay me
somehow they
50
can.
mil and I will die.
So we can't. I think going in, we all correct me if I'm wrong to the audience, but at least me going into TFA, I'm like, Han Solo's dying in this movie. I just have a feeling like he wanted to die in Empire Strikes Back. They brought him back for one more. He probably said, "I'll come back for this much money, and if you kill me." So that one, I felt like he was cool with. Leia, we had no choice. I feel like JJ did an. Hey guys. I feel like JJ did an unbelievable job handling of Leia to the point where nobody talks about it. I think people almost forget that she wasn't there. Like, I think episode 9 out of 6, 7, out of 7, 8, and 9 was like the best Leia arc. she brought Ben back, and she died. And of course, it was after Carrie Fisher had died. So it's got to be Luke for me. It's just you always wonder like what could have been, and what Luke could have maybe contributed with 9. I always felt like when I remember watching TLJ and wondering like, all right, so he's gonna come back around, and then we're gonna see Luke like Luke in episode 9 or something. And then when he does that whole thing, and we see that he wasn't there, and he's on the rock, and I'm like, what's happening right now? What's happening? And then you see him sitting on the rock, and there's like another sun that appears. I'm like, oh no! And then he slowly fades away. I remember being in shock. I walked out of the theater like, is he dead? Is he? Oh, so I gotta go, Luke. Am I right on my guess, or that we're the same?
I think for both of us, it couldn't have been Leia because we knew they were going to do something about that. Just given the real life circumstances. Han, I was shocked that he died because I didn't know they were going to do that right out the gate.
All right.
I knew that Return of the Jedi he had asked to die, but I didn't think they were also going to do that. Pitch that idea here. But I mean, it makes sense. He's like, hey, I want to come back. George wouldn't kill me. Lawrence, I'll come back, but you got to kill me. Lawrence is like, all right, I'll kill you. I do remember though, 2015 Anaheim, they were doing a tech rehearsal, and my friend went into the tech rehearsal to drop off something, and he heard them talking about how Han died, like Bob Iger was in the room, and he's standing there, and he was like, and they like turned around, they were like, how long have you been standing there? And he was like, and they were like, did you hear what we just said? And he was like,
yeah.
And he was like, yeah. They're like, we're gonna need you to sign something. And so I was standing outside at the time of the stadium waiting for him to come out, and it took a while, and I was like, what's taking so long? He came out and he looked like he had seen a ghost, and I was like, is everything okay? He's like, yeah, everything's fine, he's fine. And then after the movie came out, he like called me after the fact and was like, so I almost got murdered by Disney for finding out that Han died. What are your thoughts? I definitely in the theater when he gets impaled out loud went, no, in the quiet theater. I was the only person that said something. So it definitely got me, but I would have to say what hit me the hardest was Luke's. This is no surprise. You guys know this. Childhood hero. It's what got me into Star Wars. It's the character I connected with most growing up, just because he's like from a small town. He dreams of bigger things for himself, et cetera, wants to be the hero, does what's right. Like that's something I really, really connected with as his character, is like the guy that will always do what's right, even if it's the hard choice. The right choice is always best. He'll always sacrifice himself for his friends and family, and that's ingrained in who I am as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I'll always put other people before myself. That's just who I am. Which oftentimes it bites me in the butt, but it is what it is. That's who I am as a person. So when he died in The Last Jedi, I was in total shock because I thought the same thing you did, John. I was like, at first I didn't pick up on that he wasn't him. I was just so hyped that he showed up, because the Luke I saw in the beginning of the movie was not to be lame, my Luke of the guy that I had grown up with, loved, ingrained character in my DNA. So when he showed up to Leia, I was like, oh my God, finally he's here. He was being such an idiot. Like, this is the moment we've been waiting for. And don't get me wrong, we did somewhat get that moment. But when it reveals that it's not actually him, which I kind of thought it was funny at the time, I was like, oh, he went and got a haircut, like really cleaned up to take on Kylo.
Just for men. Yeah.
I was so much in shock that I remember I went with my two friends to the movie theater. I was quiet for about 45 minutes. I didn't talk. I sat in the car silent. We got home and they were like, do you want some tea? Like, are you good? I was like, I just need some time. That and Admiral Akbar were the two things that really hurt me in Last Jedi, that like it took me a week to get over. Like, obviously not fully over. I'm still not over it, but like get back into being like, okay, I guess I can go watch this again. Because I was just like so hurt. But I loved it. I loved the movie. And you can go back in my old social posts before podcasting and see that I loved it. I loved Porgs. I loved the Rey Kylo stuff. The throne room scene was insanely awesome. But the Luke stuff just hit me on a deeper level that I was just like, oh my God, I can never be okay with this. And that's okay. That's all right. There's things to like about it. But similar to what we talked about last week with John Boyega, I do wish that the three of them got together. At least in The Force Awakens,
I
like
do
show a
too.
flashback, do
Yeah.
something. But I, with The Last Jedi, I guess that was the first time they had done a flashback in Star Wars, wasn't it? With Luke and Ben. I believe that was the first time they did that. And JJ watched it and even said out loud, like, oh, this was the first time they'd done so. I didn't know I was allowed to do this.
JJ did a flashback in Rey's vision. We see little young Rey as a little child.
Yes.
So there's that. That might have been the first, but in terms of like more of a longer stretched out one, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, on a lighter note.
Moving on down the road here.
Next question. Because I can talk about that forever. It's just like such a deep moment for me. And Mark Hamill and Luke, like what they've done for me and my personality and my liking of Star Wars. But Mon Mothma went from a minor but very quotable character, thank you, Bothans, in Return of the Jedi to a completely fleshed out character with a massive arc in Andor. With that in mind, name another minor character you would like to see get the Mon Mothma character treatment. Ooh. I didn't get so far when I read the notes. This is a great question. John, go ahead.
It's top of mind, and it's the first thing that came to mind was Huyang. I just have this feeling based on his age and stuff that he can easily be a part of that Mangold movie. But the fact that he's so knowledgeable in regards to Kyber and lightsabers and Jedi, and he's almost like this Jedi like encyclopedia. I would love to see more of Huyang, especially in live action. So I'm going with Huyang.
That's a great question or answer. Great question too, but great answer. Because he is such an interesting character, and he's seen so much stuff that like he could give you a lot of insight into like the whole kind of trajectory of Jedi. I'm gonna go with, I think, a choice that most people aren't surprised by, which is Carson Teva. I want Paul to get a full series. I want him to be on big movie posters everywhere, T-shirts. He has a action figure, but I want him to be everywhere. I want him to be a household name, and I want Carson Teva to be the hero that he is, and like follow him around on missions and let him have his monologue where he speaks up for the rebellion and like for the resistance and why it's important to keep trying. Like that monologue is waiting to be given to Paul. So I'm going to say Carson Teva, and I hope Paul sees this. Because you deserve it, man.
We gotta get
I'm back on.
him. Yeah, we gotta get him back on the show.
Let's do that pitch. Let's pitch the Carson Teva show to Paul. He's like, Lacey, shut up. You're embarrassing me. But yeah, that's it. I mean, I think I gave pretty good choices. Pretty good. I find sometimes on these we default to our normal choices, so I try to pick like one step further away from the one people have been hearing since 2018. AKA the Kylo choice was the joke I would have made in 2018, but I actually gave a real answer.
I saw a few, and I don't want to miss them all, but few in the chat. Miles Sylvester said Tarful. Sooner Thrawn said he wants to see a Bothan, so that's fair. But yeah, let us know in the comments or on Spotify or wherever what your picks would be for One with the Force.
Patty Boy, great name. I want to see Kanan in live action somehow, even a flashback. That would be cool. They did kind of show you a little bit with that picture on Hera's like dashboard of her ship, which clearly someone zoomed in on it and it was actually hilarious. It looks like Freddie Prinze Jr. that they like photoshopped the goatee on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, Kanan kind of looks like one of the guys from like 311. He's got the soul patch and he's got like the spiky hair.
Yeah. Oh, Therm Scissor Punch. Oh my God.
Oh, that'd
Therm
be great.
Scissor Punch.
Yeah. Jason Sindula. I see Darth Snips wrote.
My biggest, people ask all the time, like merchandise wise, my biggest wish is that they actually did like a solo Sabacc table playset where you get all the different characters and like get all the stuff. They had so many awesome creatures in that segment, and they spent so much time on them and like had them in marketing and stuff. And but
Six Eyes,
never did any merch with them. And I was like, what? Like, I get it. You have the Millennium Falcon. I get it. You have Han. I get those big kind of characters. But man, did you miss out on what makes Star Wars special, which is the creatures and the side characters and like what's in the corner of this bar type characters.
Yeah, remember the one
especially
that bit all his fingernails because he was nervous?
from-
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Solo rips.
That's my new thing I'm going to throw at Hasbro all the time. How about a solo sabacc table playset, Hasbro?
Yeah.
Get that HasLab going. We'll support it. We'll be
Or
your
what if we
number
just
one
what
contributors.
if we just ask Chris and Andy to just build that and make it part of Celebration?
Oh my god.
Chris is like, no.
Chris, build Therm Scissor Punch for me, please.
Chris,
And where's my Han
our
Solo?
sabacc table playset?
They do have a sabacc table, but it's not. It's the one from the Millennium Falcon. It's not.
Oh my god.
We sat at it.
Yeah.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into our next segment. Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
great.
do it.
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
There he is, the guy I would watch win a race live at the Boonta Eve Classic, young Anakin Skywalker. But now it is time for Ask the Resistance, and how we do it on TRB Live is you popped questions in the chat, we pulled them, and now we're going to talk about them. Am I running this one, Lacey?
You are. I'm quickly going through the chat just to make sure we didn't miss anything while we were chatting.
Okay.
But you can kick it off, and I will chime in accordingly.
All right. Our first question. There he is again. David Ford. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. He said, will Disney acquire another iconic franchise so that Kathleen Kennedy can finally bring us Ewok shopping carts in Star Wars Jackass?
Oh my god, what?
I don't know that. Who owns Jackass? Is it still like MTV? Is MTV still a thing? Like Viacom? Paramount?
I
don't know.
think it's under Paramount. Pretty
Paramount
sure.
owns
Because
all?
like
Yeah.
Comedy Central, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Paramount is just taking everything.
Well, the crazy thing is Paramount is run by the son of the guy from Oracle who just basically bought TikTok. It's like the same people.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
I know this is a funny question, David, but we'll see. I don't know if I haven't heard any talks about Disney buying any other IPs right now.
I think they're
but
trying to manage what they have right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, thank you for the question though.
Mhm.
Next up we have Dennis sent in a bunch of really good questions. So I'm gonna pick one Dennis question, and I kind of feel like I
He
want to
did.
pick
Way
this
to
one.
go, Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis, you're rocking right now. You're all rocking, but Dennis is rocking a little harder because he put in a few questions. But I want to answer this question. It is, if you had to put Lady Gaga in a Star Wars role, what would you choose, Lacey Gillerin?
Oh man, I would choose some type of creepy alien character that's like either there to give advice on a quest, like the owl character in Skeleton Crew, like someone that's like, come into my workshop, like that type of character, or someone really evil. Also an alien.
See, I think I agree with you on the evil part. I think Star Wars needs their fairy tale evil queen. And I think Lady Gaga, as a human, she can look as crazy as she wants. I think she would be an unbelievable evil queen in a future Star Wars story. No connection to the Empire, Galactic Civil War, anything like that. Make her even a part of James Mangold's movie. But if she played an evil queen, I think Lady Gaga would crush that, and I think she would have so much fun because she seems to have fun in whatever she dips her toe into. That's my pick. So I think we're both on similar pages, though she would also probably have a blast being like an alien made of meat because she wore like a meat dress once.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Great question though, Dennis. Thank you. And we have this next one here by Patty Boy, who is a dream actor or director you would like in Star Wars. Mine is Joseph Kosinski, great pick, and Austin Butler. Lacey, we've talked about this a lot. I think a lot of people might know my pick. Do you still have one that's at the top of your list?
Director, I know I've said Joseph Kosinski before because Top Gun Maverick is a perfect film, and he keeps killing it.
F1 too, if you haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen that yet, but I just, by the way, funny story. I was listening to music as I was getting ready tonight, making thumbnails, preparing, getting merchandise ready to show you guys. And I was listening to like Spotify just shuffling, and Tate McRae came on, and I was like, "What song is this?" I looked down, it's like from the F1 soundtrack, and I'm like,
Hmm.
interesting. And then another song came on that was done by like Rose, who's from like a K-pop group, and I was like, "What song?" Also from the F1 soundtrack, and I was like, "Isn't F1 the thing with Brad Pitt? What did they have like a bump in soundtrack for this movie?"
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
It's
Yeah,
a
I'll have to
very
check it out.
it's a very cool movie.
Okay,
Like
fair.
everything's cool.
Is
Yeah.
it's an Apple movie, isn't it? It's on
They may
brand
have
for
gotten
Apple.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As for actor, I mean, you can go back to any episode from us for the past 8 to 10 years, almost 10, 8 years, 9 years, whatever. I have said every actor that's like the actor at that time. I'll be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I just watched this thing." I know I said Anya Taylor-Joy when I was watching Queen's Gambit. You know, it's just like, what am I watching at the time that I think that person would be really good?
Mhm.
I don't have anybody that I'd be like, "Oh, they have to be in it."
Yeah.
I lean more towards the production side of things because I'd rather my Star Wars look good and sound good and be lit well than finding the perfect actor, because I trust that they're going to find even someone with no experience, like a Daisy Ridley, to knock it out of the park. But making the movie look good is more important to me, because that's something that I think has been hurting not just Star Wars, but a lot of stuff nowadays, is that it doesn't look film worthy. It
Yeah.
looks like they rushed it, they cut costs, it looks flat, washed out, not lit well. And I'm talking not just like Star Wars, but like Wicked as an example. People are always talking about those movies like they just look weird because they shoot them for special effects, but then they don't
Yeah.
consider actual lighting treatment. Um, so yeah, I would be more concerned about who is going to direct it. I would love to see a Spielberg Star Wars movie just because the connection there with George. I think it would be like a really fun thing to have him be like, "I'm taking over this thing from George," because they're so close.
Yeah, he wanted him to
Um,
do Phantom Menace, and he's like, "No."
he probably
I
was.
don't think he wanted the pressure of that.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say he probably was like, "George, I can't stop." Um, yeah,
By
I
the
mean,
way,
there's tons of people out there that could do it. Bryce Dallas Howard.
do you ever see that video of when George reveals the B-1 battle droids to Spielberg, and they're like both like nerding out about it?
No.
It's like on the back lot, and it was the first full-scale model of it,
Uh huh.
and Steven is like, "George, this is amazing. Like, this is so perfect." And
Oh,
they're just both nerding out about it, and it's like this
yeah,
nice little cute moment between the two of them in
yeah.
like 97 or so. Check that
Oh.
out. You could probably find it, Spielberg and George Lucas with the B-1 battle droid model. It's a cool, nice little thing.
I never saw War of the Worlds from Steven Spielberg with Tom Cruise like years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So people say it's not that good, but like I saw a clip of it online that someone had posted of just like a sequence and like explaining how they shot it. And so I was like, this again is a beautifully shot movie. Like this movie is so
Oh,
epic.
yeah. You're always going to get it with Spielberg for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, even if you don't love the movie, to your point. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. We have Frank Grande. What's up, Frank?
Hey,
Um,
Frank.
Frank said, "Do you think in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, Luke Skywalker or any other legacy characters will appear?"
Are you asking me? Or are you just leaving it in the universe?
I'm thinking myself. I,
I don't
mm,
think he will be.
yeah,
I
I don't
think they
either.
have a lot to tackle in this movie and a lot of characters that they might want to bring in, that if they're going back on the journey of Grogu going to Luke Skywalker, which we all collectively as Star Wars fans agree it was too short. And we know from kind of rumblings, rumors, quotes, comments from people in interviews that it sounded like Disney really pushed for him to bring back Grogu sooner rather than later. They were like, "You
Mm,
can't separate these two. You got to bring him back,"
yeah.
which they did in Book of Boba Fett. Um, but yeah, I don't think Luke's coming back. I think they're gonna leave that alone for now. He might come back later, but not in this movie.
Yeah, I think at best we may run into 3PO and R2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, Chewie would be kind of cool if that circumstance of coincidence happened, a fateful meeting of some kind. But yeah, I'm gonna say no on Luke. I think big screen. You don't want to do like just a quick Luke cameo because it'll feel cheap. Because then they'll be like, "Oh, you just threw Luke in there to get more people to watch the movie." You
Yeah.
have the CG element. I think you're not putting Luke Skywalker in a Star Wars movie after Mark Hamill has retired playing Luke Skywalker. You just don't touch that on the big screen. I think that's the line you don't cross. So I don't think Luke's going to appear in Mando and Grogu, although Bob Iger is probably like, put Luke Skywalker in the movie.
Oh my God. Yeah.
All right, we got two more here. Well, one more, and then one we have to put an answer from one of our previous questions up. But Scott McCrate, what up, Scott? How you doing? He said, "Ask the Resistance, how much longer do we realistically have for Solo? How much longer do we realistically have for Solo 2 to be made with all the returning main characters, or is that time passed?"
Oof.
I'm saying the time is not passed, and the reason why I'm saying that is because, like, 46-year-old Diego Luna was playing like 25-year-old Cassian Andor for like 20 hours of Star Wars television, and nobody said a word about it.
They
So,
didn't.
and Alden Ehrenreich, I just saw the movie Weapons, and he's supposed to look kind of straggly with a mustache and stuff. He's still a young-looking guy. He still looks younger than Harrison Ford did in 1977. Harrison Ford was like born looking 40 years old. So, and then he stayed that age for like 40 years.
Ever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think there's a time limit on that. I'm still holding out hope. There's a reason they haven't really touched that era with Han too heavily. I know there's been a comic here and there. So I'm still holding out hope. And just as recently as a month ago, Alden said he would come back as long as he gets to play the jaded, kind of jerkish Han Solo that we meet in A New Hope, which is sort of what he ends up in at the end of Solo because he just got burned by everybody. So I'm saying I will never give up. Even if Alden Ehrenreich could be 60, I'm like, man, what's what happened, man? But Lacey, what do you think?
Yeah. It's tough because, you know, people change. Even within a year-to-year thing, people change. Not just looks, but like attitudes, values, perspectives, what they want to get involved in, etc. I think the team on this movie care about it, and I think that they want to be a part of it. You know, Donald Glover has gotten back involved in the Lando stuff, which fingers crossed is still going on. Amelia Clark has clearly said numerous times she would want to explore more of that character, and she has a whole backstory in her head that she wanted to like get into. And as we know, Alden had also said that it's gotten to a good point where now I can take on more of that role of that jaded Han Solo,
Yeah.
and I didn't get to do that yet. It just doesn't make sense why they wouldn't continue this and continue these adventures that people are so fond of and people look for and crave. And I think that's why there's been such success with The Mandalorian with Grogu is because it's basically Han and Chewie just kind of flipped a little bit where you have the bounty hunter with a child instead of like, you know, a guy with a creature. It's still like the same dynamic in a way. It's like the partner journey, buddy cop type stuff. I want more of that. I want more of what I grew up on, that I love. I want to know more about the characters that I have always enjoyed, like Han Solo. I think that he's a character that everybody knows. And for all the reasons we've always talked about with Solo, there were a lot of things stacked against it on the sabacc table, if you will, that they didn't really give it the right chance. And I think that everybody involved wants to give it a chance. They want to keep going. And us as fans have to keep kind of fighting for it to see that. And you know, Jonas wants to keep doing it, and we adore Jonas. Yeah, I think that the chances of it happening again are, I would say, 60%.
Whoa.
65, 70%.
All right. I love
I think you have more than half. But if we're being realistic with budget cuts, change strategic pushes from Disney, it's really going to depend on how Starfighter does. If an original film like Starfighter doesn't do great, which I think it will, they might push back again on the Easter egg characters we know. but it also depends a little bit on the people involved. Like if a Donald Glover pushes for it or some other bigger name pushes for it more, you might have more of a chance.
Yeah. I think, and Solo just keeps growing in popularity. That movie's aging
It does.
incredibly.
It really
Yeah.
does.
All right, that is it for questions. Gonna give a shout out to Darth Snips who threw in this one on the one with the Force question.
Yes,
on
great
the
answer.
character. Yeah, you expand upon. So what did Heather hit us with there, Lacey?
She said the Owl and Skeleton Crew would also be great for the Mon Mothma question. 100%.
Kim, yeah.
Kim,
Very good.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all so much for submitting questions. Thank you all for being with us. It's great to be back on TRB Live, or if you're listening on the podcast app. But that is taking us towards the end of the show here. We want to thank everybody so much for supporting what we do here. Thank you to everybody who took the opportunity to join us live. We really appreciate that. We did all of our plugs at the top, but just remember to subscribe, tell your friends, spread the word. I saw a guy at the store the other day, and he was wearing a Mandalorian hat, just the symbol. And I was like, "Oh, you a Star Wars fan?" I was like, "Oh, I have a Star Wars podcast." And he's like, "Oh, I love podcasts." And I just told him about it, and he's like, "I'm going to listen to it." I'm like, "Thank you very much." So if you see anybody wearing a Star Wars shirt and you love what we do and you want to spread the word, let them know. Oh, some guy at my son's soccer game also saw me wearing this Galactic Goonie shirt, and it was in passing, and I couldn't be like, "Well, this is actually about this, which I do." So I just go, "Thanks, man." But spread the word. We appreciate it very much. And check out our merch. Lacey fired up there again if you have it. trbpodcast.com. It is live. It is available. I saw some people already say they picked stuff up. Jacked Fish baseball tee. The JJ shirt is finally here. Incredible. It's incredible. And we have the Resistance Broadcast Endor Moon hoodie, which is embroidered and warm, fuzzy. 'Tis the season. So thank you to everybody for supporting us, however you support us.
What would be JJ's review of our podcast if you were to guess? How many stars and what would he say? Sum up his opinion of our podcast in 2 sentences.
As JJ?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
Come on. You can do it.
Hey, John. Lacey, it's JJ. I've been listening for a long time, and it's a 5-star podcast. I just can't wait for you to listen to it. I haven't done JJ in a while, so I don't know if that was a good one, but
I still think the best thing was when I went in Chicago to the episode 9 panel, and you had been doing that voice forever. Well, not forever. It was like a year, but I had been listening to it for a year, and I used to be like, there's no way he talks like that. Like, that's so stupid. And I was sitting in the panel, and I was front row. I got there early. I was so hyped. And he comes out, and wasn't it Stephen Colbert was the host? He came out hosting.
Yeah.
And he's like, and everybody, we have Kathleen Kennedy and JJ Abrams. And JJ comes out and he's like, I just want to say, it's great to be here with the fans. This is just so incredible. And I was like, oh my God. And I texted you and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It caught me so off guard that I was like, he actually is right.
Thanks.
Yeah. The only one I can do is Emily Swallow, which if we ever have her on the podcast, I'm going to be like, I would never do it in front of her because I couldn't.
Would I ever do JJ to JJ? Is the
Would
question.
you?
Maybe
I mean, you kind of already did. Greg
Well, that's the
recorded
thing.
your
So,
message and sent it
Greg
to JJ.
Grunberg said he has to come back on the show. He said he would show it to JJ. So if you're new to our pod, or if you don't remember this, there's an episode we did with Greg Grunberg, who is JJ's best friend. Yeah. And he just on the spot, James had said like, "Oh, John does a great JJ impression," and he's like, "All right, hang on," and he took his phone out and started filming his screen and goes, "All right, go ahead." He goes, "JJ, this bozo here can do an impression of you," and I was like, "Oh no." So I did it. I don't know if it was one of my best, but he was laughing.
He voice memoed you. Yeah.
He was laughing really hard. So I still have to find out if he showed it to him, what he thought about it, and we have to have Greg back on anyway because Greg rocks.
I just love that he voice memoed you and he was like, and send.
Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, thank you everybody so much. Lacey, where can people hit you up to celebrate the return of TRB Live and talk to you about all the fun stuff we talked about today?
They can find me on social media at Lacey Gillerin at It's Lacey Gillerin. And a friendly reminder to everybody, like I have done myself over the past few months, is to take social media breaks and find some new hobbies. It will change your mentality, your depression, your anxiety so much. It's something that I feel very strongly about. So if you haven't seen a bunch of tweets from me lately, it's I come on once in a while and then I leave. And then I come back, chime in with you guys, and leave because it's healthy for all of us to take a step away. I also want to give a shout out to the Nick Rush on Instagram. He tweeted, or not tweeted, I shouldn't say tweeted. He commented on our live stream on Instagram. So first of all, thanks for watching, Nick. He said, quote, "This podcast is severely underrated. TRB for the win." And first of all, you have a sick profile pic. It's like really like cool. It's like 3D with blue and red. But we really appreciate that. And I just want people to know on Instagram, I can see your comments if you're watching there and you can't get to YouTube or whatever reason. We really appreciate it. Watching, listening, wherever you do. As John said, he dropped like, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, etc. Even if you just follow us on social media and let us know if you've heard the episode or give us a like, it really lets us know that like there are other humans out there because sometimes the algorithms can really mess with all of us and be like, is anybody even hearing these things? So it's nice. We really appreciate it. To everybody that said hi to us in the chat. I see Marcito716 said hello, everybody. So we are seeing those things. Thank you so much. I wish I could bring them on the screen, but this software doesn't let me do that. But if you want to chat about those things, I've recently gotten into baking. I made caramels and cookies last night and learned how to brown butter, which is, I know Snips probably knows all that stuff because she's a big baker. But for me, it was like baby's first baking class.
Right.
And
very good.
I killed it.
Easy bake oven. Yeah.
Did you ever have one of those?
I think my sister did.
I had one of those when I was little.
Light bulb, right? Was that all it was?
It was like one of those light bulbs that your parents gave you to read in bed with that was like way too hot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? And then you go to turn it
Yeah.
off and you'd be like, oh God. Yeah. Like the clip ones that clipped onto the side of your bed. So it was one of those, and I got it for Christmas, and I cooked through all the stuff so quickly, like the brownie, the cake, the whatever, that I took the last packet and just mixed it together and threw it in there, and it was the frosting packet, and I totally exploded all over the oven. It broke it. Like the first day I had it.
You're like Beaker and Bunsen.
My mom was so mad. She got so mad at me. I just remember being yelled at, sitting in the kitchen being like, I didn't know it was frosting. And she was like, could you not read the packet? I was like, I don't.
Again. Yeah. Very cool. For me, Johnny Hoey on Blue Sky is the main spot. I do post a lot about the Yankees, who thank you to the people in the chat and my side eye for letting me know that they're up 4-0 right now. So let's hang on to that. And yeah, Johnny Hoey there as well. And my movie podcast, Just Like the Movies. And me and LG here have another podcast called Nerdy and Nice that comes out on Mondays. I'll actually be reviewing the movie Weapons, starring our hero Alden Ehrenreich, on Monday. So check out Nerdy and Nice. That's on its own podcast feed too. And all of our bonus stuff for Nerdy and Nice. And of course, the Stalwart Resistance broadcast. All of our bonus material can be found collectively on our Patreon. So thank you all so much. It is time for us to get out of here. We hope you enjoy the return of TRB Live. Again, and whether you're listening on your podcast app or you joined us live, thank you all so much. We hope your October's off to a great start. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time right here on TRB. See you around, kids.